How to be a good learner. Learning has always come easy for me. I love learning new things, better ways to teach, or even perform technical skills. And as you know from a previous episode, I'm an avid problem solver. Problems teach you to be resourceful and in turn can stimulate further research. But this isn't true for everyone. In fact, most people are damaged learners, which can often be traced back to their early schooling years. Being pressured for answers, given time-consuming or difficult homework, and suffering public embarrassment or even ridicule for getting things wrong can seriously affect a person's self-confidence. Pretty soon, the classroom is viewed as the torture room. In the 1980s, I took a course with the amazing Dr. Stephanie Burns called Learning to Learn. It was phenomenal. With her profound knowledge of how the brain works and deep insights into the emotional state of the learner, she helped us unlock learning barriers and achieve astonishing results in just 3 days. I remember 2 young teenagers, a brother and a sister, who came into the room. They were incredibly shy, avoiding eye contact, acting very reserved and quiet. As it turned out, they'd had a terrible time with school and both had been diagnosed as dyslexic. But by the end of those 3 days, they didn't even look like the same people. They were present, looking up, smiling, had a whole new air of confidence, and maybe you guessed it, no more dyslexia. It was almost unbelievable that they scored close to 100% on the spelling and writing tests after just 3 days. That alone should give you some idea of just how capable and extraordinary the human brain is. Another life-changing course I did was with personal development master Robert Kiyosaki. It was called Powerful Presentations, and to this day is one of the most influential courses I've ever done as a presenter. I'll talk more about this in a future episode called How to Be a Good Teacher, but the part I want to share with you now is about his rant. Being an expert in adult learning, he was shocked and motivated to make a change because of how many people carry a lifelong belief that they are stupid, simply because they scored badly in exams 20, 30, or even 40 plus years ago. The real problem, according to Kiyosaki, is that they are unable to regurgitate information under pressure. It had absolutely nothing to do with their intelligence or their smarts. Rather than focusing on curiosity and building a thirst for knowledge and love of learning, most systems demand that students memorize information in order to pass exams that can determine your future. So it makes sense then that the better you are at recalling information under pressure, the more successful you are in your tests. Kiyosaki writes about this extensively in his book, If You Want to Be Rich and Happy, Don't Go to School, and also in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. To quote Robert, "In school, we learn that mistakes are bad and we are punished for making them. Yet if you look at the way humans are designed to learn, we learn by making mistakes. We learn to walk by falling down. If we never fell down, we would never walk." Unfortunately for many, school is the end, not the beginning, because what you mostly learn is old. And once a person stops searching for information and self-knowledge, ignorance sets in. These days, with the internet at our fingertips, it's not how much we learn, it's how fast we learn. I have an important question for you. Do you consider yourself smart? If you think you're not very smart, where did this thought come from? What is your opinion based on? Does it go back to something like gaining low marks in an exam? Or was it said to you by an ignorant or unkind teacher, parent, sibling, or boss? Here's the thing. The problem is not what was said to you, it's that you believed it. Next, you need to listen to your self-talk and then change it. Do you know that when you say things like, I can't, I'm not smart enough, I don't know how to do that, it severely compromises your ability to learn? It is also highly likely to become a self-fulfilling prophecy because you will become who you think you are. Here's a couple of tips for you to improve your learning, and they are probably quite different from what you expect. Number 1, stop listening to that little voice in your head that tries to remind you that someone or something, like an exam result, made you feel that you are not smart. Simply say to that voice, "Who asked you?" I like to mimic it with my hand because it makes it more graphic. You know, it actually doesn't work to argue with that little voice because this is your subconscious mind talking, not your conscious mind, which is the one you can control. You can say words to counter your unconscious or subconscious thoughts, but it doesn't necessarily change your belief system. This little interruption nulls the effect. And quite often, that's all you need to do and keep doing until that little voice stops giving you uninvited opinions. But if you find you have a more deeply embedded problem with your beliefs, there are powerful meditations you can do to change that go beyond what I'm teaching you here. Dr. Joe Dispenza has some truly life-changing meditations that you can find free on the internet and also purchase from his website, not to mention take his courses. Okay, here's the next one. You need to catch your words and turn them around. Instead of saying, I can't, simply add the word yet. Instead of saying, I'm not smart enough, say, who asked you? And instead of saying, I don't know how to do that, which absolutely shuts down any motivation to learn, you can add the word yet, and then learn to replace that whole line with a better question such as, how do you do that? Can you feel the difference it makes psychologically and emotionally? I don't know how versus how do I? The key is to become fully aware of what you think and say, because only then can you take the steps to change it. It's very interesting listening to how people talk. The things they say tell you a lot about why they are where they are, good, bad, or indifferent. Change your thoughts, change your words, and you will change your life, at least as a learner. In part 2, let's explore some things you can do to immediately make you a better learner.